Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Penny. I am a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon, and I'm excited that you're here today because we're gonna do the Q&A. It's just a day late. Had some sick kids. I was a little under the weather, but we are here and we're gonna get started. I'm going to address today some questions about the at-home IPL device. We're gonna talk about the difference between IPL and LED. Got that question a ton. We are also going to talk about IPL and melasma and whether or not you should do that if you do have melasma. And also, I wanted to give you a quick update on my copper peptides that I am enjoying from the Dr. Picard site. I know that a lot of you were kind of waiting to hear about that, and I have one recommendation and one that I'm kind of like, meh, it's okay. So I want to share that with you today. We're going to get started, and we are going to start with the IPL and melasma question. I have this a couple times. I got this question from Virginia V. She said, you mentioned it works for hyperpigmentation, but I was wondering if it also works for melasma. And then I also got it from Miss Toasty R. She basically said the same thing, wondering about IPL and melasma. So firstly, let me tell you that if you came in office and you had especially persistent melasma, then the likelihood is you would not be recommended to get an IPL. And the deal is IPL uses light. That light energy is converted into heat, and that heat is what destroys either the pigment or it destroys the blood vessel, broken capillaries, that kind of stuff. So because of this light converted into heat inside of your skin, we run the risk of flaring melasma with that heat. Now, I do have melasma. I have had melasma since I was pregnant 10 years ago. It kind of ebbs and flows for me. I will get it under control and then it will flare. And I definitely have an ongoing battle with melasma. Two reasons why I felt pretty comfortable using this at-home device. Number one, I am on hydroquinone. I started using very consistently hydroquinone again prior to doing my TCA peel. When I was prepping for my TCA peel, I took at least 2+ weeks and was very compliant with hydroquinone. And so I was already prepped for this at-home IPL device. I felt pretty comfortable that I had my pigment kind of wrangled, if you will. The other thing is this at-home device is significantly less strong, and that equals less heat than an in-office device. So I don't feel like this device, it has 19.89 joules, which is seriously a fraction of what you're gonna get in office. I don't feel like the heat that's generated from this device is strong enough to flare my melasma, especially since I have a pigment inhibitor of hydroquinone on board. So if any of you are contemplating at-home IPL, and you have persistent melasma, I definitely recommend that you start on a pigment inhibitor, or that perhaps this is a device that you skip, because you definitely do run the risk with IPL of flaring melasma, not because of the light, but because of the heat that it gets converted into. So hopefully that is helpful. Now, the other question that I definitely got a bunch was the difference between IPL and LED. And they are definitely different devices. I know they're both light, so that can be confusing, but I want to break that down for you guys really quickly. And first of all, LED. I have a whole video on LED. I'm going to link that in the cards if you guys want to check it out. But the bottom line with LED is it's a passive light that is like a trickle charger. You choose a certain color of LED to affect a certain process in your skin at a certain depth. Example, if you choose blue LED, you are going after acne typically, because a blue LED light travels at 415, 423 wavelength. That particular wavelength gets into a certain depth into your skin, and it will affect your sebaceous glands, and in turn will help with oil production, and also kind of creates an environment in that area that is not good for acne bacteria. So you choose that certain light, that light gets in, and it's like a trickle charger to help that certain process at that certain depth in your skin. If you choose red LED, for example, at 650 nanometers, that particular wavelength goes into a particular depth in your skin, and at that depth, we have collagen processes going on, and that light is able to stimulate adenosine triphosphate, and that in turn can help with collagen production. So it's specific colored lights to do a specific action at a specific depth in our skin. But what's really important to know is that it's very passive. It's like a trickle charger. It's very slow and gentle, and it is nothing that's going to immediately impact and make a change with one treatment or even 10. It's very, very slow and subtle. IPL, on the other hand, is a broadband spectrum of light. Lots of light, different lights that are pulsed in with more of an impact, and they target certain things in your skin called chromophores. The chromophore is just a scientific name for a target in your skin. Specific targets that we're talking about are melanin, pigment, color, and also hemoglobin, which is reds or blood, right? Okay, so when we choose the right IPL, in this case with this specific device, lamp, or we choose in office a certain wavelength handpiece, 515, 580. You might hear that if you ever go into an office. You might hear the practitioners talking and hear that they're going to choose a certain wavelength. That is the specific choice to affect a specific target. Now, when that light is pulsed in, it is like a guided missile that is attracted to the target that we have chosen. So if we have chosen melanin as the target, that light goes in, it is absorbed, it is converted into heat, and it destroys its target. And then the body does the work of carrying away that destroyed target. Now, in the case of blood vessels or broken capillaries, or also called superficial telangiectasias, the light that is chosen in IPL is specifically attracted to blood. It's specifically attracted to reds. It's pulsed in, and again, it's like a guided missile looking for those blood vessels. When it gets to those blood vessels, it is converted into heat and it just shatters them. And then the body carries them away and it looks like they disappear. Now, in the case of this handheld device, my guess is it's gonna take lots of punches before it knocks out a blood vessel, if it does. So that is one of the things that we are going to be testing over the next 2 months with this handheld device. How many punches did it take to possibly get rid of a blood vessel, if it does? So that's definitely something I am testing. Same thing with the pigment. When you go in office, that device is so strong that the punch is like a knockout punch to your melanin. It goes in, it is attracted to that melanin, it gets in there, converts to heat, destroys it, the body takes away the excess, or in office, it can bubble to the surface and it flakes, it gets like coffee grounds and it falls off. It literally just destroys and your body pushes it out. Now, with this handheld device, I'm not expecting coffee grounds. I'm not expecting any of that. I'm expecting it to be punches over time until the melanin is destroyed, until the broken capillary is destroyed, and the body will take it away. So I hope you guys can see the difference. They are very, very different. LED and IPL are two different things. Now, something that is kind of similar is that this particular IPL device for at home does have an acne handpiece, an acne bulb, and it is filtering blue light just like blue light LED. They're different forms of light, but they have a very similar concept in that they create an environment that is not good for acne, and they are also going to help affect the sebaceous gland. So in that respect, this IPL is kind of like LED, that the blue light does do a very, very similar thing. And so yes, that's very similar. And also with the skin rejuvenation lamp that comes on here, it is definitely kind of heading in there and helping to stimulate collagen. I did get this question also. If you're doing this once a week, can you still do your every 4 weeks microneedling? And will that interrupt the collagen cycle? So with LED and with IPL and with microneedling, we are stimulating collagen in different ways. With microneedling, it's important to remember that we are creating microchannels that is a wound essentially. And what happens is an inflammatory response happens after we do while we're doing a microneedling session. That kicks off this entire wound healing process. And part of that process is collagen stimulation. The body basically sends in the troops to help with, wound repair. It's like a triage for your face when you do microneedling. Well, with IPL and with LED is helping to stimulate adenosine triphosphate, which in turn will help with collagen production. Completely different. Completely different. There is no wound. It is not a wound healing process. So we are not interrupting any collagen cycle with these different modalities. If I went in and I wounded my skin again too soon, yes, I would interrupt that wound healing process of collagen production. That is why I don't recommend that you microneedle for collagen anytime before 4 weeks. Now, people have said, but wait, you said in the lip line video you can do it more often. That is because we are using shallow needles when we're doing that lip line or cosmetic needling or nano that is very, very superficial. That is not stimulating collagen. What we're doing when we're doing cosmetic needling or very shallow needling is we're using those channels to penetrate product in deeper so that it's more efficacious. And we can do it at that depth because we're just getting into the epidermis, and cosmetic needling causes you to absorb the product that you put on with it many times more than if you just put it on your skin, which is a fantastic barrier and doesn't like to let things in. So cosmetic needling just opens the gate and helps things get into our epidermis a little bit farther, but we're not stimulating collagen. So it's different. Basically, light and wound healing processes are different, and they can be used in conjunction with each other. In fact, Dr. Lance Setterfield definitely does recommend LED post microneedling, and the reason for that is that LED is also anti-inflammatory. So you go and you do this wound healing process, and there is this inflammatory response. And if you've been here for a little while, you've heard me say that inflammation is pro-aging. Okay, so we microneedle our face and we stimulate, there's inflammation happening. It has to happen. It's part of the wound healing process. But we want to kick off that wound healing process, and then we want to cap that inflammation. We don't want it to go on and on. We just needed to kick off the wound healing process and start the ball rolling for collagen stimulation. So if we apply LED after a microneedling session, we cap that inflammation. So we got what we wanted from the inflammatory response. We got our collagen stimulation. The ball is rolling. Now we're going to stifle that inflammation with LED, and then we have exactly the amount of inflammation we needed without going into pro-aging with inflammation. Hopefully that makes sense as well. These modalities are good friends. They work very, very well together. Last thing that I do want to quickly touch on is the copper peptides. I did order lots of things, a couple $100 worth of copper peptides from Dr. Picard's site, my own money. They do now know I exist because apparently some of you let them know that you were purchasing because I had mentioned them, but I purchased everything with my own money and I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I decided to limit the products that I was going to use so that I could kind of get a feel for what I was using. And so I started with the VIP serum and the GHK eye cream. Now I will tell you that I did take a little tiny break from that VIP serum when I did my TCA peel. I really went right into comfort care and just hydration for at least 6 or 7 days post TCA peel. So I did take a break from the copper peptides then. But I have to say that if you are looking for some direction, there's lots and lots of product on that website. The VIP serum has impressed me greatly. I definitely am noticing an improvement in my skin from using that. Now, of course, I've done the TCA peel. Now I've done the IPL, I microneedle. Obviously, it's a combination of things, but I do feel like I'm noticing some positive changes when I use that copper peptide serum in particular. I will say that the eye cream, it's okay. I don't think I'll repurchase it. I will definitely continue to use it. It is not my favorite eye cream I've ever used, but that serum is definitely something I can see repurchasing in the future. I'm gonna try the other products that I ordered, obviously, and test those out next before I make any repurchases whatsoever. But I wanted to give you guys that feedback because I know some of you are kind of waiting. There's so many products on that website that I think it can be very overwhelming. I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. I hope that this answered some of your questions in this quick Saturday Q&A. I want you to know that I do have the new Dr. Penn M8, and I will be doing an unboxing and a review of that new Dr. Penn very soon. I also have the MyoLift Mini in my possession, and I have gone through their certification so that I got some good information to share, and I have been testing it out with the gloves and really kind of trying to get a feel for how I feel about that little device. I will be sharing that with you as well. That is a microcurrent device. And yeah, there's some fun stuff in the works. I have reached out to the people at Tria Laser to see if maybe they might want to send me one so that I can test it out for you. So there's lots of fun things coming. I appreciate you guys so much, and I wish you the best weekend. Take care.